Tang Li travels to the fantasy world and gains the protagonist's must-win system at the beginning. As long as he is killed, he will be resurrected and will definitely defeat the opponent. So, Tang Li embarked on a series of dying paths. The young lord of a certain city. Even a mere mortal dares to meddle in my young master's affairs. Ding, the host has been killed. Reward the grandfather of a young city lord for all his strength, master of the 9th rank sect. Dare you come alone to die? Ignorance. Ding, resurrect the host and gain rage points for blessings, immortal emperor of the immortal realm. Tang Li is no match for this. If I take action, I will surely defeat his bones and expose him to ashes. Ding, resurrect the host, reward the protagonist's aura. When Tang Li stood at the top of the world, he couldn't help but sigh. Invincible, too lonely. Chapter 1. I am bald and invincible. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tang Li's soul crouched beside his body in a daze. A few days ago, he traveled to this mysterious continent, but his birthplace was not quite right, and he ended up falling into a cave several tens of meters deep. And as a standard accessory for travelers, Tang Li successfully bound the Fist Superman system at the beginning. He was filled with joy and thought that he had achieved great fortune. Unexpectedly, I was transformed into a bald person by the system, but because of my lack of salty fish temperament compared to Teacher Chiyu, the system has been unbound. The cave was too high, and the tragic Tang Li couldn't climb out. After persisting for a few days, he finally starved to death in the cave. Completely reduced to the shame of a traveler. Ding, a suitable host has been detected, the protagonist's winning system is being activated, and binding is starting. Your grandfather, both the labor and capital have died. Can you give me a protagonist victory system? Tang Li secretly harbored resentment in his heart. The system is still acting on its own, ignoring his roast. Ding, binding successful. Congratulations to the host for winning the beginner's reward of 1 billion lives. Every time the host is killed, it will be resurrected with full health within 30 seconds. After resurrection, obtaining the winning plan, the host as the protagonist will definitely defeat the opponent. Tang Li was still very excited for a moment in his heart. This is the treatment that the interloper and the protagonist of the story should have. The problem is, I'm already dead now. What's the use of this broken system only coming now? Ding, it has been detected that the host has been overcome by hunger, and the system is arranging a method of overcoming it. The host obtains the innate body and no longer needs to eat. Note: the innate Tao body is the first cultivation constitution in the cultivation world, which can automatically absorb the surrounding spiritual energy for cultivation. The cultivation speed is unparalleled in the world, and it will not go astray. There is no cultivation bottleneck below the holy level, and longevity is not affected by the 5 weakness of heaven and man. Host resurrection. After more than 10 seconds a golden light flashed past, and Tang Li's soul returned to his body. The hunger disappeared. Her appearance has become even more handsome due to her innate physique, and even her figure has become incredibly perfect. Tang Li glanced at the system panel. Name: Tang Li. Race: Human realm. Mortal skill: none. Divine power: none. Magic weapon: none. Special. Congenital Tao body, the first cultivation constitution in the cultivation world, resurrection times 100 million times points. 0 system level. LV1 Tang Li expressed dissatisfaction and even wanted to give the system a 1-star negative review. He didn't feel any difference except for exceeding his normal metabolic needs. And, most importantly, after being resurrected, I am still in this cave. Is the cultivation speed unparalleled in the world? It can automatically stop practicing at all times. Tang Li didn't know where he had fallen after crossing the river. Anyway, he didn't have any spiritual energy or anything. I want to fly out by practicing on my own. Not existing. He actually thought about crashing into a wall and committing suicide. However, when Tang Li had this idea, the system reminded him that if he hit a wall, the system would determine that he wanted to commit suicide and would not resurrect. And even if resurrected, I'm afraid I won't be able to get out at most if I reward myself with Iron Head skill or something like that. What makes Tang Li speechless and unbearable is, after resurrection, he's bald. I think of one day when I went out and flew with my sword. Everyone else has long hair, graceful and elegant, with a fairy-like appearance. But I was holding a soy egg head, which made me feel sour and refreshing. As the protagonist, I'm going to lose my pussy. Tang Li obtained the protagonist's winning system, not the protagonist's most handsome system. Suggest Tang Li to purchase Xuanhuan hair lotion in the system store. Just when Tang Li opened the system store and found Xuanhuan Xing Fa Shui in the daily necessities department store. The series of zeros after that price made him want to cry without tears. As a beginner, Tang Li's current points are only 0 points. Don't say it's real, Bawang shampoo. I can't even afford the cheapest old carpenter brand comb in the store. Of course, in his current situation, the comb has completely disappeared from him. The innate Dao body is still very fortress-like, with its own dust removal effect, making Tang Li look clean and never die of hunger, thirst, or old age. However, Tang Li's life was even more agonizing than when he first crossed over. Apart from staring at the cave entrance and cursing at the dog driving system, he has nothing to do every day. There was a hint of despair in his eyes. Tang Li could tell that he was planning to kill himself. Provided a winning system for the protagonist. The result is that the birthplace of the beginner is incorrect. There is an infinite resurrection skill that can blast the sky. As a result, half of the people couldn't touch it. His biggest wish now is to come and kill himself quickly. Maybe after resurrection, we can go out. Ah! A woman's scream interrupted Tang Li's thoughts. He looked up. I saw a skirt that conforms to Newton's laws. The pure white gauze skirt swayed upwards in the wind, and a pair of smooth and fair long legs kicked wildly in the air. A beautiful green silk danced in the wind. The skin is crystal clear and creamy. The whole person is as beautiful as a scroll painting. So white and beautiful, I can play with these legs for a year. Tang Li swallowed his saliva. Subsequently, he was heavily hit by the girl who fell from the sky. Chapter 2. Little girl, congratulations on winning the prize. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bang! Bang! Ling Xiaoxiao quickly stood up, dusted off her dress, and tidied up her clothes. Girls should still pay attention to their image. Strange, falling from such a high place doesn't hurt at all. She murmured in confusion. Because you hit me. Tang Li's voice came from behind Ling Xiaoxiao. The innate Dao body was like this bunker, and Tang Li was unscathed and quickly climbed up from the ground. I hope for the stars and the moon, and finally I hope for the living. Tang Li was moved by the inner bull on his face. As a career-oriented man, he doesn't have the mood to appreciate the beautiful woman in front of him. I just hope the girl can quickly kill herself. Then quickly resurrect and become stronger. Upon hearing the voice behind him, Ling Xiaoxiao quickly turned around holding his sword. After seeing Tang Li's face clearly, her beautiful eyes stared big. That face, she swore, was definitely the most handsome she had ever seen, and even had some charm that matched the main road. It is natural that Tang Li's appearance has been finely tuned by the system in order to conform to the proper arrangement of the innate Dao body. I can definitely compete for the title of the most handsome guy in the 3 realms. But the most attractive thing is his smooth soy egg head. At first glance, it's hard to take one's gaze away. And next, Tang Li's words completely messed up Ling Xiaoxiao. Stop talking nonsense, it's my brother who came to chop me off. Tang Li suddenly uttered an endless sentence, which stunned Ling Xiaoxiao. Ling Xiaoxiao feels strange and wants to chop him off by himself. Is it because of a bad brain? Tang Li was leisurely waiting to be chopped to death, but the system's warning sounded. Friendly reminder. Provoking the other party is acceptable, but actively asking the other party to kill oneself will be considered as the host's intention to commit suicide in this system. After death, it will not be possible to resurrect. Tang Li almost vomited blood after hearing this. He was originally thinking of finding some experts to kill him a few times after going out. By then, wouldn't it be possible for oneself to quickly become a master? Who knew that the system had already blocked his way to exploit loopholes? What are you saying? Ling Xiaoxiao widened her eyes and asked. Tang Li also calmed down and looked at Ling Xiaoxiao in front of him. Now all hope can only be placed on her. He coughed lightly, changed his expression, and showed an inscrutable look. I found a stone step on the side and sat cross-legged. It's nothing, just now I was testing your character, you passed. I am Tang Li, the immortal of the upper realm. Who is standing in front of me? Ling Xiaoxiao was taken aback. Immortals. She just scanned with her spiritual sense and found that Tang Li had no spiritual energy on him. No matter how you look at it, it's just an ordinary person. However, this is a sealed-off area, and ordinary people find it difficult to move a single step here. The other party should be carrying some hidden cultivation treasures. Ling Xiaoxiao, who was naturally cautious, thought for a moment before bowing to Tang Li and answering. Senior, I am Ling Xiaoxiao, the daughter of Ling Chuan, the lord of Lingxiao City in Feiyan Realm, Zixia Prefecture, Yuzhou. Tang Li touched his bright brain and chatted leisurely. Girl, I have been waiting here for 1,000 years just to meet a destined person. Congratulations on winning. Tang Li started a serious nonsense mode. 1,000 years. Ling Xiaoxiao almost couldn't help but burst out laughing. In the heavenly Xian continent, cultivation begins with the opening of the Xian, followed by condensing meridians, forming elixirs, gathering energy, purple mansion, Dao palace, spiritual light, divine sea, and so on. If you want to have 1,000 years of longevity, at least it's in the realm of the divine sea. Unfortunately, the bald Tang Li in front of him doesn't look like a senior expert no matter how he looks. Ling Xiaoxiao carefully glanced at Tang Li. Why are you in this sealed place, senior? And why is there no spiritual energy on you? You're quite cautious, Tang Li nodded and continued to deceive. Little girl, you don't know anything about it. 1,000 years ago, I experienced a great war with my archenemy. My spiritual power was sealed by the archenemy, and I eventually fell here. Now it's fate that we meet. If you take me out, I'll send you a great fortune. How about that? Tang Li has not yet left the novice village, where is there any great fortune? But in order to get out, he also put in a lot of effort. Ling Xiaoxiao was taken aback at the words. It was difficult for her to distinguish whether the bald fairy's words were true or false. She believes for now. After all, girls have a natural fondness for handsome little brothers. Senior, I can't take you out either. Ling Xiaoxiao blushed slightly and said awkwardly. What, can't you fly? Tang Li asked curiously. Yes, it's just that this is a sealed-off place, a special place in Yuzhou. There is no spiritual energy here, and disciples below the Tijidan realm cannot mobilize their spiritual energy inside. What kind of realm are you in? The little girl's spiritual power is low, and now she is only at the 6th level of the condensing meridian realm. Tang Li was greatly disappointed. This tool person's strength is not enough, they cannot directly take themselves out of the novice village. If you want to go out, it seems you still need to find a way to deceive the other party and kill yourself. Ling Xiaoxiao was about to test Tang Li again. Suddenly, a cry of surprise came. This little slut is indeed not dead. Just above the cave entrance, several ropes were thrown down at some point. 5 figures followed the ropes and descended from the sky, finally landing steadily in front of Tang Li and Ling Xiaoxiao. The leader is a man in his 20s who clearly has excessive alcohol and sexual activity. He followed 4 people behind him, all of whom were his lackeys. "Huh, Ling Xiaoxiao, you little slut, it's really great not to die." The young master in splendid attire felt even more relieved when he saw Ling Xiaoxiao looking disheveled. Li Wenbin. Ling Xiaoxiao stared at the man in splendid attire with icy eyes, slowly lifting the sword in his hand. "Your father is dead, and your Lingxiao city is also finished. I see what kind of support you have." Chapter 3. The protagonist appears. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Talking too much is useless, let's take action. Even if I die today, I will hold you back. After speaking, Ling Xiaoxiao blocked Tang Li behind him and whispered. "Senior, this matter has nothing to do with you. You'll hide aside later, and they shouldn't make things difficult for you." Her behavior has greatly improved Tang Li's impression of her. Although this tool person's cultivation is not high, his heart is very kind, at least he knows not to harm the innocent. "Pull me on my back." Li Wenbin laughed heartily. "A few people on my end are all in the condensing meridian realm, and you are just the 6th level of condensing meridian realm. Where did you get your confidence? I want to see what kind of storm you can stir up." Upon hearing this, his 4 hands immediately patted the chest and assured the young lord of Xuanhuan city. "Young lord, rest assured that our 4 brothers will definitely shatter that slut into pieces. That's right, today is the deadline for this little girl's death." Ling Xiaoxiao's face changed, and he knew that he might have had more or less bad luck today. And Li Wenbin frowned and scolded after listening to his subordinates. "Nonsense, who said I'm going to kill her?" Several of his subordinates were taken aback, and one clever subordinate immediately flattered. "The young lord is truly unparalleled in benevolence and righteousness, cherishing fragrance and jade." Even if Ling Xiaoxiao had offended the young lord before, the young lord would not be willing to go to great lengths to destroy flowers. They are all henchmen raised by Li Wenbin, accustomed to bullying the weak and being afraid of the hard, so they naturally know how to flatter and steer according to the situation. Li Wenbin snorted coldly and said, "You know what? I want to catch this slut alive. First, I will depose her cultivation and raise her in the mansion to serve my young master. When I have enough fun, I will send this slut to the army to serve as a military prostitute." He became more and more excited as he spoke, with a lewd expression on his face. The other 4 also became enthusiastic upon hearing this, with a sudden realization on their faces. The young lord of the city is handsome and unrestrained. Being able to be your maid is simply a blessing she accumulated in her previous life. Extremely wonderful, young Lord Wise. Only you can come up with such a brilliant idea. Ha ha ha, this little slut dared to stroke the young lord's tiger beard back then, but now it's probably too late to regret it. Li Wenbin nodded in satisfaction. "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and take her cultivation back. Obey me." The other 4 were ordered to carry weapons and prepare to surround Ling Xiaoxiao. Ling Xiaoxiao was already on the verge of despair after listening to Li Wenbin's words. If he is really caught by Li Wenbin, the result may be life is more than death. The initial determination to give it a try also disappeared. Instead of being humiliated at the time, it's better to settle on your own. Thinking of this, Ling Xiaoxiao lifted his sword and prepared to commit suicide. And Tang Li stood up at this moment. After watching the play for so long, it's time for him as the protagonist to appear. All right, can't you all see that there's still a big living person here? Arriving at my place, I don't know how to bow, but I dare to treat my protagonist like air. Tang Li walked calmly to Ling Xiaoxiao and glanced up and down at Li Wenbin, disdainfully saying. "The protagonist is here, there's no such thing as you little brats showing off. At any time, when the main character comes on the stage, naturally there is no supporting role. Tang Li, with both hands on his back and a straight waist, blocked Ling Xiaoxiao behind him. Senior, this is a grudge between me and them. You don't need to intervene, let alone you have no spiritual power now. Ling Xiaoxiao was both moved and anxious. Tang Li's portrayal of an ancient and passionate heart. It's just that he has all his cultivation skills and has been banned, probably because he has more than enough heart and less strength. There are 5 condensed meridian realms across from him, and killing him is as easy as the palm of one's hand. Isn't Tang Li seeking his own death by jumping out now? Don't worry, with me here today, these little brats won't hurt you at all. Tang Li calmly waved his hand and smiled confidently. The experience package needs to be collected. In front of a beautiful little sister, good feelings naturally need to be brushed off. This man's smile is really beautiful. In an instant, Ling Xiaoxiao was stunned, her pretty face blushing slightly. At the same time, I felt relieved and had some expectations for Tang Li. After all, the other party is a senior expert who has lived for thousands of years. Maybe they have some killer skills, and at this moment, there is another person who has been stunned. Li Wenbin stared at Tang Li in a daze, drooling unconsciously. There are exiled immortals in the world, graceful and graceful. Tang Li under the spotlight, in the eyes of Li Wenbin. It was exactly the appearance of a handsome young man with a fairy-like demeanor. He has been captured by Tang Li's beauty. In fact, when he first entered the cave, he noticed this bald and beautiful man. He just scanned with his spiritual sense and found that Tang Li was a weak chicken with no cultivation. A person who poses no threat can automatically ignore it. He didn't expect Tang Li to take the initiative to jump out at this moment. Li Wenbin's performance was noticed by the 4 attendants behind him. Their expressions suddenly became restless, and they began to communicate and analyze the situation through consciousness. Ada. What's the situation? The young lord wouldn't be interested in that kid, would he? Heir. 5 men vying for a husband. How can that be? If there is one more person vying for favor, there will be more danger. San. Think of a way quickly. See. At this point, we can only find an opportunity to kill him. Xuanhuan city is located in a remote area, with more men and fewer women. A good male demeanor is already an open secret. Especially Li Wenbin, who is determined by his appearance and likes to cater to both men and women. As long as he is interested, he will receive everything from the mansion. The 4 people behind him, who were supposed to be attendants, were actually his male pets. The thought of receiving 2 beauties today, a man and a woman, made Li Wenbin so excited that he almost got wet. At this point, the discussion between Ada and others had also ended. Si, who had an impatient personality, jumped out. He clenched the sword in his hand, with only one thought in his heart. I absolutely cannot tolerate Tang Li competing for favor with myself. Bold, where did the mole ant come from? Who gave you the courage to speak to our young lord like this? As soon as he finished speaking, Si took a brisk step, swung his long sword, and locked in with one move. At the center of Tang Li's chest, blood splattered everywhere. Tang Li on the opposite side collapsed with a satisfied smile on his face. Good kid, well done. Congratulations on becoming the first person to kill me, Grandpa. I won't forget you. All of this happened between lightning and flint. Ling Xiaoxiao and Li Wenbin stared at Tang Li's body on the ground, but didn't react for a moment. Pooh, you're still a senior. You're just a mediocre person, even if you dare to step out and save the beauty with heroes. You're really clueless. Ashi, who was determined to kill with one strike, disdainfully caressed his long sword. See. You're a loser. Who asked you to kill him? Li Wenbin looked at Tang Li's body with regret, feeling heartbroken. Originally, he saw Tang Li Shui out of the sky and wanted to bring him into the harem. This handsome face is worth keeping for a lifetime. Unexpectedly, Si killed him. This is simply a crime. It's just a waste. Senior, this. Ling Xiaoxiao on one side lost her beauty. Isn't it a peerless master from 1,000 years ago? She thought Tang Li had hidden means, but never expected that Tang Li would snap so quickly. Ding, the host has been killed and is currently testing the enemy's strength. Ding, we are now replicating the full strength of Grandpa Li Wenbin as the host. Ding, the replication is complete. The host has 4 levels of cultivation in the Jidan realm, automatically comprehends the 6th level of the Dragon Dance White Yang Classic, automatically learns the Dragon Dance Sun Seizing Sword technique, and is a beginner in Bloodthirsty War technique. The host is about to resurrect. Chapter 4. I am your grandfather. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Although Li Wenbin had some heartache, he quickly recovered. After all, Tang Li is just an ordinary person, and if he kills him, he will kill him. Say it again. Isn't there another Ling Xiaoxiao who can be used as a toy without Tang Li? Li Wenbin's eyes were filled with excitement and cruelty. Now it's your turn. You guys, come up with me and catch me alive. Li Wenbin waved his hand and ordered the 4 followers to take action together. I haven't waited for the big guys to take action yet. There is another mutation in the field. Shua. A white light flashed over Tang Li's body. Then, amidst the surprised gazes of the crowd, Tang Li stumbled back up. The blood stains on his body are still there, but if you look closely at his chest, you will find that the wound he just had has disappeared without a trace. Tang Li now feels like his condition is better than ever before. The body is filled with bulging spiritual power, the mind is incredibly clear, thoughts spin rapidly, and everything around seems to slow down. The legendary realm of Jidan. This is the power of the strong. Tang Li's excited chicken turned purple. System Dad really loves me. On his first move, he helped Tang Li replicate the strength of Grandpa Li Wenbin. He knows what the other party knows, along with hundreds of years of combat experience. Apart from weapons and appearance, he is now Li Wenbin's grandfather. With just one death, he crossed 2 great realms from a mortal and became a master of the Jidan realm. This feeling is also quite satisfying. Among the crowd present, Ling Xiaoxiao was the first to react. She had a surprised expression on her face. Senior, it's great that you didn't die. Although it is unclear why Tang Li was still alive despite being struck with a sword in his chest, as long as Tang Li did not die in vain to protect himself, Ling Xiaoxiao would be very happy. Si was dumbfounded. He rubbed his eyes in disbelief. What's the situation? Why did the bald guy stand up again when he clearly stabbed the key point of the bald guy on the other side? A few people threw reproachful glances at Si. What the hell is going on? You are a cultivator of the condensed meridian realm, yet your sword cannot kill a mortal. Can it be even more outrageous? This abnormal scene made Li Wenbin frown. You, who are you? Li Wenbin just wants to figure out who the strange bald handsome guy in front of him is. Humph, I'm your grandfather. Tang Li joked and said. His words have just finished. Si jumped out again. Speak rudely, seek death. The reproachful gaze of his companions before was caught by Si. My own ox knife actually failed to even kill Tang Li, this weak chicken. A hint of shame and annoyance appeared on his face. Those who pretend to be gods and ghosts, I will kill you again now. After Si finished speaking, he picked up his long sword again and swung it towards Tang Li. This time he aimed at Tang Li's head. He doesn't believe that Tang Li, who has a different head, can still survive. Tang Li sneered and said, carving insects is a small skill. After speaking, he used his finger as a sword to attack Si directly. The distance between the 2 sides is less than half a meter, and it will arrive in an instant. Ashi's mouth curved with sarcasm. Do you dare to take the initiative to pounce on yourself just because of your clumsy appearance? It's like seeking death. Hiss, the light flickered and disappeared, and a figure fell to the ground in response. Raise a cloud of dust. Ling Xiaoxiao turned her head and closed her eyes, unable to bear to see Tang Li being killed by Si again. And Ada and others coincidentally raised the corners of their mouths. This time, it's absolutely foolproof. Just an ordinary person, it has delayed these cultivators for such a long time. Speaking out, they all feel blushing. However, their smiles quickly solidified on their faces. Li Wenbin widened his eyes and looked at Tang Li incredulously. What's going on? He couldn't help but take a cold breath. I saw a small hole pierced through Si's neck, bleeding profusely, and he was already lying dead on the ground. And Tang Li, holding Si's sword, stood there unscathed, revealing a towering appearance. Here abnormal movements. Ling Xiaoxiao turned around and opened his eyes, staring at Tang Li in disbelief. Why didn't the senior die? Did you even take down the person across from you? Senior, you're okay, that's great. Ling Xiaoxiao's eyes revealed surprise, and her face flushed with excitement. Tang Li smiled confidently and touched his bald head. Ling Xiaoxiao's surprised gaze satisfied his pretentious heart. Tang Li said calmly, "Little girl, don't panic, it's just a small scene. I said, with me here today, they can't hurt a single strand of your hair." Ling Xiaoxiao listened to Tang Li's domineering words, her whole heart pounding and bouncing wildly. The watery big eyes and the delicate ones are even more charming. After listening to Tang Li's words, Li Wenbin's mood became less cheerful. "You, who the hell are you?" Faced with Tang Li, a strange and powerful bald man, he casually used honorific language. "Senior, this matter has nothing to do with you. I hope you don't interfere in the grudges between Xuanhuan City and Lingxiao City." Li Wenbin said in a deep voice, his eyes full of fear. A Si is a triple cultivation in the realm of condensing meridians. Tang Li can easily kill a Si, and naturally he may also easily kill himself. He revealed the name of Xuanhuan City, hoping to intimidate Tang Li. However, he was destined to be disappointed. Tang Li is a master who is not afraid of heaven and earth. Are you awesome? Come kill me and give it a try. Tang Li is a little powerless to complain about it. You all wielded swords and slashed at me, saying it had nothing to do with me. As for who I am. Tang Li lifted his hands and looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle, posing as an extraordinary expert. Sun Tzu, do you have a bad memory or can't hear what I'm saying? I've said it all, I'm your grandfather. Tang Li's mischievous appearance greatly angered Li Wenbin. The bald handsome guy in front of me. Handsome and earth-shattering, equally strong in strength. This mouth is really poisonous. There is no such thing as a senior expert should have. Repeatedly taking advantage of oneself, not to mention. Repeatedly speaking out to mock oneself. Uncle can't bear it, aunt can't bear it. Li Wenbin, who usually acts recklessly, can't bear it anymore. This second-generation ancestor finally got angry. He waved his hand and roared angrily at the A group of people. Let's go up together and kill him. Received orders from Li Wenbin. Ada and others glanced at each other, although they were afraid of Tang Li's strength, they still pulled out their matching swords from their waists and killed Tang Li. I saw Ada and the others coming towards me in 3 directions. Tang Li calmly urged the spiritual energy in his body, controlled the sword in his hand, and launched a fierce attack towards the Ada and his companions. Using Qi to control the sword is not good. He can actually mobilize the spiritual energy inside his body. Rewind quickly. A few people exclaimed in surprise. Those who can mobilize their spiritual energy in a sealed place are at least experts in the Jidan realm. What are the few coagulation meridian states they can resist? However, it was already too late. Puyi 3 swords fell in unison, and Ada and his companions died on the spot. Do you have any last words to say? Tang Li looked at Li Wenbin with a smile and walked slowly towards him. Li Wenbin's pupils suddenly shrank, his legs and stomach became weak, and he was so scared that he almost sat down on the ground. He shouted at the top of his lungs. You can't kill me. Do you know who my father is? My father is Li Jingyun, the lord of Xuanhuan city and a master of the 9 levels of Jidan realm. I am his only son. If you kill me, he will definitely not let you go. Tang Li sneered and his footsteps did not stop at all. 9 levels of Jidan realm. Who are you scaring? Even if Li Wenbin's father is a fairy in the immortal world, it's useless. From the moment Tang Li obtained the system, he is already invincible in the world. Anyone who dares to kill Tang Li once, the other party is doomed. Li Wenbin saw Tang Li's figure getting closer and closer, and his trembling voice threatened again. I tell you, there are also accompanying experts sent by my father above the cave entrance. If they find out that you have killed me, you will be dead. Li Wenbin trembled as his voice made the final threat. In Li Wenbin's view, such a threat is completely meaningless. After all, his father, the lord of Xuanhuan city, couldn't deter Tang Li. Not to mention the 2 accompanying experts. But Tang Li stopped moving forward, his eyes flickering with a playful light. Is there even a skilled follower of this guy? I am worried about how to become stronger. Isn't this a great opportunity to come knocking on your door? Thinking of this, Tang Li suddenly grinned and said, since that's the case, then I'll go up and play with them as you wish. Chapter 5. Can't you guys engage in group fights? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Upon hearing Tang Li's words, Li Wenbin remained calm on the surface, but secretly rejoiced in his heart. This fool, you're doomed. I want to see how much longer you can go crazy. He was so excited that he wanted to scream, as if he had already foreseen the scene of Tang Li's flesh and blood shattering in devastating defeat. At that time, both Tang Li and Ling Xiaoxiao will be deposed for cultivation and become their own playthings. However, at this moment, it is not yet reckless. If he continues to provoke Tang Li, he may have to meet with Ada and Asu at the Yanwang Palace. Senior, releasing a tiger back to the mountain will bring endless troubles, and I suspect there may be an ambush above. Ling Xiaoxiao anxiously grabbed Tang Li and advised him. She saw it just now. Although Tang Li's cultivation is much higher than his own. However, this experience is too shallow, indicating that Li Wenbin is not well-intentioned. Tang Li looked at Ling Xiaoxiao's worried eyes and laughed heartily. Don't worry, we're just going up to spar, and Li Gongzi, the young lord of the city, must be someone who keeps his word and can definitely be trusted. Are you right, young Master Li? Once this statement is made. Not just Ling Xiaoxiao. Even Li Wenbin was stunned. I really thank you, even more than my dad trusts me. If I don't treat you well later, it will really disappoint your trust in me. Right. I, Li Wenbin, am a person who always speaks and acts. Please rest assured, Fairy Ling. I will compete in martial arts until the point is reached, and I have no intention of causing harm. Li Wenbin patted his chest and assured Ling Xiaoxiao, his eyes narrowed with disgust. You see, I just said that young Master Li definitely believed it. Tang Li was overjoyed and patted Li Wenbin's shoulder with relief. Ling Xiaoxiao rolled her eyes, unable to roast. You are really lying dragons and phoenixes. One dares to speak, one dares to believe. This bald immortal is also too easy to deceive. Senior, don't believe his sweet words. Do you not know that people's hearts are treacherous? This dog thief is extremely cunning. He just vowed to kill you. Tang Li quickly waved his hand. Little girl, that's not right. As the saying goes, when a prodigal son turns back, gold will not be exchanged. When a prodigal woman turns back, let's see. We must believe that Li Gongzi has reformed after the lesson he just learned. After speaking, Tang Li refused to give Ling Xiaoxiao another chance to persuade him. Carrying Li Wenbin, he quickly flew out of the cave. Tang Li was eager to die and wished he could die a few more times, but he couldn't protect Ling Xiaoxiao's life and death. Moreover, if he were in front of Ling Xiaoxiao's eyes. Once again, he was taken down by the enemy. Then he is a fairy. Do you still want face? Outside the cave, Li Wenbin stood opposite Tang Li with his head and chest high, proud like a rooster, and behind him stood two experts dressed in black and white. These two people, nicknamed Black and White Double Shah, are Li Wenbin's personal bodyguards. The strength of the man in black is in the 5th level of the Jidan mirror. The white-clad master is Li Wenbin's master, and his overall strength has reached the level of the 6 levels of the Jidan realm. He is also considered a top powerhouse in Xuanhuan city. Li Wenbin and Ling Xiaoxiao have shallow qualifications and cannot see through Tang Li's strength, but these two people can clearly see that Tang Li only has the strength of the 4 levels of Jidan realm. When Li Wenbin learned that Tang Li was just the 4th level of the Jidan realm, he felt that he had done it again. The ending has been decided. This wave is like how the flying dragon rider lost. Ha ha ha, you're really innocent. You, a small Jidan realm quadruple, dare to pretend in front of me. Who is their grandfather now? Ha ha ha. Li Wenbin thought Tang Li was afraid, so he arrogantly mocked him. You. Tang Li showed a heart-wrenching expression and pointed at Li Wenbin. I trust you so much, but you have let down my expectations of you. Doesn't your conscience feel anything about it? The more painful Tang Li's performance was, the happier Li Wenbin's heart became at this moment. Ha ha ha, you're still a fairy. I think you're a fool. Didn't you go crazy just now? The black and white twin demons protect Li Wenbin, giving him a strong sense of security. Show me how crazy you are again. His eyes once again showed a fierce aura. Go ahead, depose him and leave him alive. I will take him back to Xuanhuan city and torture him well. The two masters behind him exchanged a glance. Holding a master's identity, why use an ox knife to kill a chicken? Black E stood up, drew his sword and unsheathed it, moving like the wind, and instantly killed Tang Li. Tang Li took advantage of the situation to resist, turned his sword, and found a gap to go against the wind, stabbing towards the opponent. The power was so great that he forced Black E to retreat in succession, like a flying dragon dancing in the interweaving. This sword move had a faint sense of familiarity. Two people fought each other for several rounds, and the situation was anxious, making it difficult to distinguish between high and low. The man in black is a bit anxious. Tang Li is equally anxious. If we continue to fight like this, it will take us a long time to be killed by the other party. What are the rules of the martial arts world about life and death? One-on-one can't take me down, can't you two go up together? Or do you think I'm not worthy to be your opponent? Tang Li sneered and looked contemptuously at the person in white across from him. Upon hearing this, Li Wenbin felt a bit confused. Yaha. You still dislike 1.1 disrespect for you. This is like a toad jumping into an oil pot, seeking death. You brought this on yourself. Want to die? I'll help you. Let's go together and catch me alive. Li Wenbin was furious. Upon hearing this, the man in white couldn't bear it anymore. He drew his sword and stabbed it with lightning speed, exuding an extremely powerful aura. Tang Li faced two opponents with one opponent and two opponents with slightly higher levels than himself, and soon fell into a disadvantage. However, the other two cannot benefit from it either. After all, Tang Li's strength is in front of him, and Li Wenbin will be caught alive again. They dare not use heavy moves, and there is nothing they can do for a while. This battle has once again fallen into a stalemate. Tang Li's sword deviated from its intended position, charging forward and forth without any hesitation, using the tactic of exchanging life for death, which made the two skilled players who kept their hands everywhere feel extremely frustrated. This is not going to work. Tang Li felt a bit anxious in his heart. If you can't die and get caught alive, you won't be able to trigger the resurrection hang. What else will you do to turn the tables against the wind? We still need to find a way to blow a breeze and stir up some anger. Thinking of this, Tang Li once again began to mock. Thank you for calling yourself a master. Can't you even kill me with 2 strikes and 1? What a waste. It seems that I'm afraid this won't be enough. Tang Li turned his head and glanced at Li Wenbin, continuing to arch the fire. Sun Tzu, these 2 subordinates are not doing well either. They can't even harm my hair. What kind of expert, I think like you, it's just a bag of wine and rice. If you have any other helpers, hurry up and call them out. As soon as these words were spoken, the faces of the 2 masters turned pale and furious. Li Wenbin's face looked even worse. Tang Li provoked himself while fighting. This is completely disregarding oneself. It's simply deceiving people too much. Tang Li saw the situation and continued to add fuel to the fire. Sun Tzu, what are you still staring at? Hurry up and move all your backhand out. Tang Li's repeated attempts at archery finally paid off, which completely angered Li Wenbin. I will definitely take your dog's life today. Kill him for me. Li Wenbin roared wildly, he couldn't bear it anymore. The 2 masters who were struggling to fight were waiting for this command. Yes, young master. The black and white twin demons are taking command together. Tang Li's situation immediately took a sharp turn for the worse. 2 experts in the Jidan mirror teamed up, their moves were sinister and filled with murderous energy. Tang Li couldn't resist them alone. Tang Li was forced to be clumsy on both sides, in a state of embarrassment. After a few rounds, bang boom. Tang Li was finally killed, and his body fell to the ground with a loud bang. But Tang Li, who had already turned into a soul-like figure, was not at all panicked, and his heart was actually happy. His biggest wish at the bottom of the cave before was that others could kill him. However, it has never been possible to achieve it. I didn't expect to be killed twice in a while today. It's really 3 years since we didn't open, we'll eat it for 3 years. At this moment, the pleasant prompt sound of the system rang out unexpectedly. Ding, the host has been killed, and the system is analyzing the enemy's strength to prepare a resurrection plan for the host. Chapter 6. You boy are really a talented person. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding, the host has been killed, and the system is analyzing the enemy's strength to prepare a resurrection plan for the host. Detected 2 opponents' strength, now reward the host with the enhanced version of 100,000 volts usage right once. The host is preparing to resurrect. Upon hearing the system's prompt sound, even Tang Li, who had become a soul, almost had to offer his knee. Do you want it to be so magical? Isn't it the promised fantasy world? Unexpectedly, the system is quite capable of causing trouble. Surprisingly, it is 100,000 volts. This is the ultimate move of Pai Shen in Pet Elves. Although not the strongest, it is definitely the most famous move. As a necessary means of system reward, the killing power is absolutely amazing. On the other side. Finally dead. Li Wenbin roared wildly, his eyes filled with terrifying excitement. It seemed that he was afraid that Tang Li might not die like before, so he ran up 2 or 3 steps. Seized the spirit sword from the man in black. Facing Tang Li's body, there was a burst of crazy stabbing. I make you crazy. Are you still floating or not? To provoke this young master, don't inquire about how many eyes Prince Ma has. What kind of thing are you? How dare you insult this young master? Li Wenbin cursed profusely. After a crazy outburst, Li Wenbin tidied up his clothes, tidied up his hair, and threw the spirit sword to the man in black. He walked to the entrance of the cave and gave instructions to his subordinates. Ling Xiao Xiao, that little slut is still down there. You two go down and grab her for me. Then, he saw a familiar white light shining on Tang Li's body. No, right. This seemingly familiar scene made Li Wenbin's heart tighten. Tang Li, who should have died completely, slowly opened his eyes and got up from the ground. Apart from the tattered clothes cut by Li Wenbin, there were no visible wounds on his body. This eerie scene made Li Wenbin and his companions widen their eyes. His master, the man in white, was the first to react and analyze. This kid should be a disciple of the Netherworld sect. The one we killed just now must be his puppet double. If we kill him again this time, he will die to the death. No longer waiting for Li Wenbin's orders. The two of them raised their swords and killed Tang Li again. Yes, this time he was dismembered in 8 pieces and his body burned to ashes. I don't believe this bald guy can be resurrected again. Li Wenbin screamed wildly. This bald guy is really weird. Despite being killed twice, he finally got up as if he had nothing to do. This situation is a bit challenging Li Wenbin's psychological bottom line. Upon hearing Li Wenbin's crazy shouting, Tang Li dug out his ear. Isn't this grandson's composure too poor? It's not the first time I've seen myself resurrected, why do I call myself like a woman? He looked at the two people rushing towards him. Silently activating the system reward, calmly placing a self-perceived handsome pose and shouting loudly. 100,000 volts. A lightning bolt flew out at lightning speed from the front of Tang Li's finger, splitting into 2 paths and heading straight towards 2 men, one black and one white. Humph, a little trick of carving insects. They didn't take Tang Li's attack to heart and waved their third-order spiritual sword in their hands, wanting to split this lightning bolt open. And then, there was no more roaming. Along with it came a loud bang and dazzling white light. When Tang Li opened his eyes again, there were only 2 piles of humanoid ashes left in front of him. A gentle breeze blew by and dissipated with the wind. If it weren't for the spirit swords and storage rings used by 2 people on the ground, they seem to have never existed before. This amazing scene. Li Wenbin was so frightened that indescribable liquid flowed from his crotch. Shit, this skill is too awesome. Tang Li was equally shocked. This is simply a necessary skill for home travel, killing people and stealing goods. With one move, even the money for going to the crematorium was saved. Sure enough, it's amazing. Tang Li came to Li Wenbin again with his sword in hand. Hee, grandson, Grandpa accidentally went crazy in front of you again. What do you say now? Li Wenbin's teeth trembled with fear, and he didn't know what to say anymore. If I had known this god of killing was so awesome, I wouldn't dare provoke him even if I said anything. In Li Wenbin's eyes, these 2 bodyguards are his greatest safety guarantee. I have helped myself solve various enemies countless times. I didn't expect to be instantly turned into ashes by Tang Li, a bald man, with just one move today. This completely shattered his psychological defense line. Li Wenbin screamed and jumped into the air. Next was a 1080-degree somersault, followed by a sliding kneeling in front of Tang Li. He hugged Tang Li's thigh and let out a series of mournful cries, one after another, with tears streaming down his nose. Grandpa, it's my grandson who made a mistake. He's always joking with you. Just forgive your grandson. Li Wenbin was really scared. As the future lord of Xuanhuan City, there will be endless glory and wealth in the future. He doesn't want to die in Tang Li's hands at a young age. Are you too disgusting? Don't rub your snot against my pants legs. Tang Li pulled out his leg with a disdainful expression on his face. Do you know you're wrong? I know it's wrong, I know it's wrong. Who is Grandpa? You are my grandfather. You are my own grandfather. Being able to be the grandson of a handsome and majestic immortal like you is truly a blessing bestowed upon me by Li Wenbin for 10 lifetimes. These words happened to hit Tang Li's heart, and he happily listened to Li Wenbin's praise. His expression also softened a lot. Li Wenbin saw that he had flattered correctly. In order to survive, he also risked his life. Grandpa, you are truly a dragon and phoenix among people. You are a genius in heaven and extraordinary in martial arts. Today you must take me as your grandson. My greatest wish for Li Wenbin is to be filial to my grandfather for the rest of my life. You are the most wise and powerful person in the world, the most handsome person in the world, the most powerful expert and the most magnificent hero in the world. You. Li Wenbin's mouth was like a machine gun, spitting out words of praise with a crackling sound. Tang Li's eyebrows are almost raised to the sky. I can't believe that Li Wenbin is really a talented person with such excellent skills in flattery. This flattery is so great, it's really heart-wrenching. This is the first time Tang Li has felt the joy of pretending to be forced. 5 words floated from the sky. Refreshing and refreshing. And Li Wenbin has even maximized this talent. He continued to flatter Tang Li in various ways for more than 10 minutes, during which he didn't repeat anything. Undoubtedly, he is the future lord of Xuanhuan city. He probably listens to compliments from his subordinates in his daily life, and his flattery skills are also impressive, completely surpassing modern flatterers. The power possessed by this fart spirit almost made Tang Li believe that he was Li Wenbin's long-lost grandfather. This praise is too sincere, too high. After a while, Li Wenbin finally stopped. He pursed his dry lips and looked carefully at Tang Li. Grandpa, your grandson has been praising you for so long. Please forgive your grandson this time. Tang Li feels almost done now, and it's time to get down to business. Alright, find me a set of clothes, and then hand over your storage ring and weapons and armor to me. These are all spoils of war. Tang Li discovered a recycling store in the system before, and these spoils can be recycled and exchanged for points. It cannot be wasted at all. His clothes were chopped into thin pieces by Li Wenbin and turned into beggar clothes. The head can be broken, blood can flow, and the image of senior experts cannot be lost. It is urgent to change into a new set of clothes. Upon hearing this, Li Wenbin obediently handed over the weapon armor and storage ring to Tang Li. With great vision, he ran not far away and picked up the weapons, armor, and storage ring that had fallen to the ground by the 2 hands. He also handed them over to Tang Li. After completing all of this, Tang Li carried Li Wenbin and flew to the bottom of the cave again. Chapter 7. Originally, it could still be like this. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the bottom of the cave, Ling Xiaoxiao was anxiously pacing back and forth on the ground. She knew that her strength was limited, so she didn't rush up to cause trouble for Tang Li. I'm worried about Tang Li's safety. I saw Tang Li wearing new clothes and carrying Li Wenbin back. Senior, you're back. It's great that you're okay. Ling Xiaoxiao exclaimed in surprise. Her gaze immediately focused on the 2 spiritual swords in Tang Li's hand. She is very familiar with the appearance of these 2 spirit swords. Their master is a master of the Jidan realm. At that time in Lingxiao city, these 2 spirit swords followed their masters but killed many of their Ling family's children. Now that it has fallen into Tang Li's hands, their owners are probably killed by Tang Li. Ling Xiaoxiao, who had been worried for a long time, finally had a hint of joy on her face. What are his 2 subordinates, senior? Tang Li naturally understood what Ling Xiaoxiao wanted to ask. He nodded slightly and said nonchalantly. Oh, I've sent them all to where they should go. Upon hearing this, Ling Xiaoxiao was even more surprised. Undoubtedly, he is a senior expert who has lived for thousands of years and a master of killing the Jidan realm. It's as simple as killing a chicken. If this senior is willing to help, there is hope for revenge in the Ling family, right? Ling Xiaoxiao thought to herself. Tang Li turned to Li Wenbin. Sun Tzu, do you know what to do? Li Wenbin trembled all over and knelt down again in fear, kowtowing like pounding garlic and repeatedly begging for mercy. Are you wrong? Wrong, wrong, I really know I was wrong. Have you taken it? I've taken it, this time I really took it. Ling Xiaoxiao seemed to have once again let go of Li Wenbin in Tang Li's words, and she quickly spoke up to advise. Senior, this Li Wenbin must not stay. If we let him go back, he will definitely cause trouble and bring people back to pursue us. If that's true. That's really great. Tang Lisin said. Of course, he couldn't say that in front of Ling Xiaoxiao. Tang Li pursed his lips. Are you still afraid of them with the strength of this immortal? Li Wenbin quickly denied it. I absolutely dare not, I dare not again. I will definitely change my past mistakes, be a good person, and dare not bring anyone to oppose my senior. He said so. Tang Li's face immediately darkened. Are you saying you won't find anyone to kill me again? Li Wenbin quickly said with a mournful face. Grandpa, I really dare not find anyone to kill you, and I can't find anyone either. This time attacking Lingxiao City, the team led by Li Wenbin is from Xuanhuan City. In addition to the 2 alchemy realm experts just now, there are also over a dozen other alchemy realm experts under my command. However, just look at Tang Li's terrifying move just now. 0.100000 volts. Even if Li Wenbin calls over a dozen other experts from the Jidan realm. It's just an experience pack for Tang Li. Are you really unable to call anyone to kill me? I really can't call anymore. In order to prevent Tang Li from killing him, Li Wenbin quickly shook his head and promised. Then I'll keep you as a tool and have a bird to use. Tang Li grumbled in dissatisfaction. Can he not know what moral character Li Wenbin is? The reason why Li Wenbin has been keeping his life is that he hopes his grandson can continue to shake people. Call on a few more experts to kill yourself. Tang Li only regarded Li Wenbin as a tool to enhance his own strength. But now the other party says they can't shake anyone. Then there's no need to keep this grandson's life. After speaking, under Li Wenbin's stunned gaze, Tang Li slapped him on the head and sent him to meet the ancestors of the Li family. Tang Li dragged Li Wenbin's body to meet with the other 4 corpses. The 5 corpses were playfully arranged with the word, cow. Then he rubbed his hands, his eyes lit up, and began to search for his loot on the bodies of Li Wenbin and others. I saw him digging left and flipping right, storing rings and armor equipment, regardless of their height, regardless of their status, into his own system storage space, not even sparing a few taels of silver that ordinary people would use. Ling Xiaoxiao clubbed together, her eyes moved with Tang Li, and her heart was crazy roast. This is not a senior expert, it's clearly a bandit passing through. Regardless of how Ling Xiaoxiao looked at him on the side, Tang Li wholeheartedly counted the spoils of war. There are several 1st and 2nd grade spiritual pills, as well as 2 3rd grade spiritual pills. In addition, there are also many 2nd and 3rd grade spiritual herbs such as ghost face grass, blue leaf grass, and green spirit vine. 4 ordinary 1st order black iron spirit swords. There are also 3 3rd order spiritual weapons, long swords. Li Wenbin is truly the young lord of Xuanhuan City, not only using the 3rd order spiritual weapon flying sword. In addition, he is wearing a 3rd level golden silk spiritual armor. There are about 2,000 medium grade spirit stones and over 500 high grade spirit stones. In addition, there are more than 10 2nd level seal scripts. In the end, all of these were cheaper for Tang Li. He happily placed Li Wenbin's 3rd order spiritual weapon flying sword in the storage space. The rest were thrown into the system recycling store by Tang Li one after another. As a result, a pile of treasures were only exchanged for 43 points. After some thought, Tang Li threw his last 3rd level spiritual armor to Ling Xiaoxiao, who had a bewildered expression on his face. These low-level spiritual weapons, spiritual armor, spiritual grass, spiritual pills, and so on are not worth money. Moreover, the little girl is at least worried about her own safety and is on her side, so she can be considered Tang Li's teammate. When we win the battle and share the spoils of war. As a senior expert, I can't be too stingy, can I? Besides, he can't use the treasure armor at all. My biggest trump card is the protagonist's winning system. As long as you resurrect after death, you will surely defeat your opponent. If you wear a treasure armor, wouldn't it delay you from opening cheats? It's not necessary. What a pity. If we only rely on these worthless pieces of metal and a few pieces of grass to exchange points, we can complete the system upgrade in monkey year and horse month, let alone exchange for true king shampoo. To get rich, we still need to find another way. Tang Li silently sighed in his heart. The body has also been searched and scraped clean. It's time to leave the cave and start a new world. He flew out of the cave with Ling Xiaoxiao. At this moment, Tang Li was tall and majestic in Ling Xiaoxiao's eyes, very mysterious and bringing a full sense of security. Unexpectedly, without hesitation, he threw himself a third-level treasure armor. Ling Xiaoxiao's gaze was firm, and he secretly made the most important decision in life. She suddenly called out to Tang Li, knelt on one knee, and clasped her fists. "Senior, your divine abilities are unparalleled and your martial arts are superb. I have a heartless request from you, hoping that you can help me seek revenge. From now on, I am willing to serve you as a servant and follow you for life." Tang Li looked silently at Ling Xiaoxiao, feeling a bit worried. He is not interested in helping Ling Xiaoxiao seek revenge or anything. If you want to, it's troublesome. What interests Tang Li the most? Besides pretending to be around. It's just about earning points and redeeming it for true overlord shampoo. Solve the problem that the image of your soy egg head is not perfect. Besides, at least I came from a civilized society. Ling Xiaoxiao's enemies, who had no grievances or grudges against him, ran over without any reason to destroy them. It's a bit off topic. Tang Ligong wants to refuse Ling Xiaoxiao's request. The system's prompt sound has come on. Ding, I have received loyalty from a subordinate of the holy body of extreme ice, earning 5,000 points. Ding, the main quest to unify the three realms has begun. Is this okay too? Tang Li was stunned when he heard the system prompt sound. Tang Li has no interest in the task of unifying the three realms assigned by the system. He doesn't want to be a system worker. What surprised him was, in the eyes of the system, people can also be considered treasures. In an instant, Tang Li's thoughts opened up. Isn't he able to recruit disciples and earn points? As long as his apprentice recruits enough, purchasing true overlord shampoo is just around the corner. Change the angle. Tang Li has 1 billion lives. Continuously being killed, after being resurrected, one will constantly resurrect and become stronger. Even if it's a different pig coming over. You can also become a pig god like a howling dog in the end. At that time, there will be plenty of opportunities for oneself to go around pretending. If there is no cheerleader or audience around, what is the pleasure of his pretense? Although Ling Xiaoxiao's strength is not good, he wins because of his beautiful appearance. There are beautiful women standing behind him cheering and calling for him, shouting 666, and so on. The scene looks particularly motivating. Moreover, Ling Xiaoxiao was the first person he met in this world, a special person who deserves special treatment. Thinking of this, Tang Li immediately changed his mind. Chapter 8. You are the most outstanding female disciple of our sect. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tang Li suddenly thought of the system and immediately glanced at it. His system has now automatically upgraded to LV2, and his points have directly increased from over 5,000 points to 43 points. The system is also too dark and domineering. Upgrading without saying hello, and surprisingly requiring 5,000 points. Rich in just 3 seconds, back to before liberation, have you considered the feelings of your host? Tang Li's heart was twitching, and he was really thinking that the Ba Wang shampoo was far away from him, sadly looking at the main task that he was not interested in. Discovered an additional LV2 integral turntable. He opened the points turntable with an irresistible desire, including spiritual tools, techniques, talismans and seals. An old carpenter's comb. Tang Li touched the head of soy egg, his eyes brightened. Surprisingly, there is an old carpenter's comb in the points turntable. Does that mean there may be a possibility of true overlord shampoo in the future? Perhaps the higher the level, the better the reward will be. He suddenly opened up again. The system upgrade is indeed very useful. Tang Li stopped his thoughts and found that Ling Xiaoxiao was still kneeling there. He stepped forward and helped Ling Xiaoxiao up. Since Ling Xiaoxiao has become his own person, Tang Li will seek revenge for his sister no matter what he says. Okay, I'll help you. Tang Li smiled and said, you know, I have a very soft heart. When I see a beautiful girl, I can't help but want to help. Ling Xiaoxiao was extremely happy. Tang Li was indeed a kind-hearted immortal from ancient times. Senior, when are we going to leave? We should plan something. I think first. As Ling Xiaoxiao excitedly planned his revenge plan, Tang Li once again fell into contemplation. He began to ponder on the main task, as people often say that existence is reasonable, and the system will not produce meaningless things for no reason. What if there are rich rewards behind the main task? How could such a good thing be missed? Tang Li smiled and patted his head. I'm really a clever little ghost. Click on the task reward and he guessed it right. After completing the main storyline task, you can receive an opportunity to choose any reward from the system store. At this moment, Tang Li had 10,000 bottles of True King shampoo dancing in his mind. This is an opportunity to become rich overnight. All roads lead to Rome, and this road is most suitable for people to play with. However, this main task is large and time-consuming, and he has to play on this path himself, without any creativity or fun. To have the pleasure of being surrounded by stars and the moon, one must defeat all enemies. Since that's the case, it's better to establish a sect as the leader and expand the scale of the cheerleading team. Isn't this an arrow that can be carved several times? Isn't Ling Xiaoxiao in front of me the first step towards establishing my own sect and career? How could I be so talented? Tang Li couldn't help but praise his intelligence and wisdom, without hearing Ling Xiaoxiao shouting at him. Senior, are you listening? Senior. Tang Li regained his senses with an expression that I was listening to. You say, continue. What I mean is, first we need to rush back to Lingxiao City, investigate the enemy's situation, and wait for the opportunity to move. It feels like you're going home like a thief. Has your Lingxiao City been destroyed by someone? Speaking of this, Ling Xiaoxiao's eyes turned red. When she thought of her parents and loved ones who had died in front of her, tears couldn't help but fall again. In the Feiyin realm of Zixia Prefecture, Lingxiao City is a particularly prosperous city. Located in a transportation fortress, it has a second-order spiritual pulse that assists in cultivation. Such ostentatious behavior naturally attracts jealousy. The surrounding 4 cities, driven by jealousy and hatred, deliberately plotted to invade Lingxiao City. Taking advantage of the injury of Lingxiao City's Lord Ling Chuan, they joined forces to kill Lingxiao City. Lingxiao City is weak and invincible, falling into a dangerous situation. If it weren't for Ling Chuan using the last resort to send Ling Xiaoxiao out of the city gate before his death. I'm afraid she has also lost her charm. These days, she was chased by Li Wenbin and a group of subordinates all the way, and finally arrived at the sealed land. During the fight, Ling Xiaoxiao was accidentally shot down to the bottom of the cave where Tang Li was located, and everything just happened. Do you want to reclaim Lingxiao City? Of course. Ling Xiaoxiao answered decisively. However, Tang Li's tone changed. I don't want you to be any servant, I want you to be my disciple and worship me as a teacher. Ling Xiaoxiao widened her eyes and looked at Tang Li in astonishment. Is this senior serious? Tang Li shrugged his shoulders and asked Ling Xiaoxiao with a smile, why don't you want to? Yes, of course I do. The leader is above, and I am worshipped by disciple Ling Xiaoxiao. Ling Xiaoxiao's face showed joy. She didn't expect that this bald senior would not only be willing to seek revenge for herself, but also accept herself as a disciple. This is a senior expert suspected to be above the divine sea realm. She certainly couldn't help but beg for it. Free gift. Tang Li smiled and reached out to help Ling Xiaoxiao up. By the way, Master, I don't know our sect's name yet. Tang Li's eyebrows furrowed as he heard the words. He wants to give his sect a awesome plus name, after all, this is the first sect in the 3 realms in the future. However, he wanted to break his soy egg head, but he could not think of a powerful name. Suddenly, Tang Li's eyes lit up, and his spirit flashed. Our sect is called Ibn Dao. Tang Li nodded in satisfaction. Ibn Dao. Ling Xiaoxiao blinked her big eyes, obviously very unfamiliar with this name. Tang Li nodded. 1 Dao, 10,000 laws, it represents the unity of all laws, returning to the source, and seeking one's own path of cultivation. Ling Xiaoxiao realized. It is truly a sect founded by senior experts, even a name is so mysterious. Just by hearing this name, she felt her realm loosen and there were faint signs of breakthrough. From now on, you will be the #1 actress in a book. When I am not in the sect, you will take control of the sect and take charge of the overall situation. Tang Li immediately issued his first order after taking office. The top female actress in a book. Ling Xiaoxiao has no idea what it means. Tang Li looked at Ling Xiaoxiao in confusion. The first female actress represents that you are the best female disciple of Hondo. Only the most outstanding female disciples of our sect can have this honor. He explained without changing his expression. Ah, actually my talent is so valued by this senior. Ling Xiaoxiao felt ecstatic inside. She felt that this should be the biggest opportunity of her life. In the future, I must practice diligently and not disappoint the expectations of my seniors. Otherwise, Ling Xiaoxiao would also be disrespectful to the title of the top female actress in Ibn Dao. Tang Li looked at Ling Xiaoxiao with a joyful expression and breathed a sigh of relief. I finally fooled it past. Fortunately, this girl is from a different world and doesn't even know what Ibn Dao is. I also don't understand what the first female actress represents. Otherwise, Ling Xiaoxiao's mood would probably not be so beautiful. Let's take a break in place first, and then find a place nearby to stay overnight. Ling Xiaoxiao nodded. Having been chased for 2 consecutive days, she was indeed a bit exhausted due to her high mental tension. It's safe now. She quickly closed her eyes and fell asleep. Tang Li began researching the integral turntable of the system. What left him speechless was. This LV 2 points turntable requires 1000 points to rotate once. How else are you playing? He only has 43 points left now. Fortunately, there was a reward after the system upgrade. Tang Li couldn't wait to use the free frequency. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning the creation magic. Creation fairy. It sounds very impressive. Tang Li activated his skills without hesitation. The creation magic is indeed a very impressive skill, which can directly consume points to generate items. Although it cannot generate living organisms, it is still magical enough. I need to find an opportunity in the future to put on a show in front of Ling Xiaoxiao. Oh, no, it should be a way to show off the immortal. It can definitely make my image as a fairy more profound and unpredictable. Then, Tang Li, who was sharp-eyed, discovered an unclaimed upgrade gift package under the system. After opening the gift package, the sound of the system came to his mind. Ding, the host opens the upgrade package to receive random rewards. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a treasure-hunting mouse. Chapter 9. Dad has no milk. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Treasure-hunting immortal mouse, what kind of immortal beast is this? Tang Li curiously took out the treasure-hunting fairy mouse from the system. This is a cute mouse that emits golden light all over its body, with a faint aura emanating from it. Treasure-hunting immortal mouse. Legend has it that a powerful immortal beast with the ability to search for heavenly and earthly treasures is a rare treasure in the eyes of cultivators. Its ability can help cultivators quickly find various precious heavenly and earthly treasures. Tang Li placed the treasure-hunting fairy mouse in his palm. The little one's eyes lit up instantly. Feeling the spiritual energy, Ling Xiaoxiao also woke up from her sleep. After opening my eyes, I saw the cute treasure-hunting fairy mouse. She exclaimed in surprise. Ah! Master, what is this? It looks so cute. Ling Xiaoxiao reached out his jade hand to tease the little one, but the little one avoided Ling Xiaoxiao's fingers. It jumped off Tang Li's hand and excitedly climbed down towards the bottom of the cave where Tang Li had been before. Senior, what is this? Oh, I'll go down and take a look first. Tang Li knew that there must be some heavenly and earthly treasures in the surrounding area, so the treasure-hunting fairy mouse had such a reaction. When he chased the treasure-hunting fairy mouse to the bottom of the cave. Seeing the treasure-hunting fairy mouse was like discovering the 5 constant rice, excitedly jumping back and forth in one position. Without a doubt, there must be some treasure in that position. Tang Li ran over excitedly in 2 or 3 steps, used the 3-level spirit sword he just got as a shovel, and dug towards the location of the treasure-hunting rat. Soon, a snow-white crystal block caught Tang Li's eye, and then, ding, the host has been killed by the enemy. We are now testing the enemy's strength and preparing a resurrection plan. Second Olympics. Tang Li was speechless for a moment. Although my greatest wish is to be killed by the enemy. But this death is really inexplicable. I didn't even see the enemy, I just dug a treasure and was killed. This world is too crazy and too dangerous. Detected that the host has been killed by fragments of the origin star. Now reward the host with a trace of the origin star aura. Upon obtaining the aura of the source star, the host will receive recognition from the fragments of the source star. The source star will recognize the host as the master and prepare for resurrection. Tang Li, who had turned into a soul-like figure, felt very embarrassed. Killed by fragments, I feel like the low is exploding when I say it. Then, with a flash of white light, Tang Li was resurrected again. The treasure-hunting fairy mouse has disappeared. In front of Tang Li, there is a white creature, and the size of the palm looks like Xuanhuan, filled round balls made of glutinous rice. Flour for Lantern Festival. Wow, this fragment of the primordial star has turned into a spirit, it has even transformed into a creature. And it looks quite cute, Q.pop. But the little one's next sentence made Tang Li feel that it was not cute at all. Mom's embrace. Tang Li. Sleeping slot. Are you really meowing when you don't call me labor management dad or my mom? What's going on here? Does this little guy, like some creatures, consider the first thing he sees as his mother? Please take a clear look at my gender and call me dad. Mom. The little thing remained unmoved and stubbornly continued to shout. Hiss. Tang Li took a cold breath and the corners of his mouth twitched. Rubbing the white ball with both hands. Are you intentional, right? You must have done it on purpose. He doesn't believe that such a spiritual creature can't distinguish its gender. Upon hearing the commotion below, Ling Xiaoxiao also descended into the hole along the rope. Then she saw in shock that Tang Li was arguing with a clumsy creature. Call Dad. Mom. You owe me a beating, don't you? Believe it or not, I'll beat you up. Mom. No matter how Tang Li corrects it, the little one remains unrepentant and always calls Tang Li's mother. Angry Tang Li slapped the little guy. I don't know what the little guy's body structure is. Tang Li's own hand was hurting, but it showed no response. And the little one shouted even more happily, one mother after another. This scene made Ling Xiaoxiao almost lose his footing with a smile. This art style is really cute. Tang Li's eyes rolled and he noticed. Since you are my child, then my father will give you a name. Just call yourself Xiaobai. Tang Li looked at Xiaobai with a wicked smile on his face. Xiaobai immediately became confused. It has high spirituality and knows a lot. I naturally know what the name Xiaobai represents in the human world. An expression of grievance immediately appeared on its face. I protest, this name sounds too unpleasant, I need to change it. Protests are invalid. I am your father and I have absolute naming rights. Tang Li spoke out against it. Unless. Tang Li seemed lost in thought. Unless you change your name to Dad. Ling Xiaoxiao is in a mess. Tang Li's image in her heart changed from a senior master to a strange corn with tomatoes on sticks to trick children. And a hint of hesitation flashed on Xiaobai's face, before finally pouting. Humph, Mom is the worst. It seems that regarding the issue of addressing, it is intended to go all out with Tang Li Gong. This scene of love made Ling Xiaoxiao cover her mouth and chuckle lightly as she teased again. Cough cough, Master, I think this little white is so cute. I don't think you should just follow it. Upon hearing this, Xiaobai immediately showed a pleasing expression to Ling Xiaoxiao and said in a milky voice, Fairy sister. Tang Li. The sound of the fairy sister made Ling Xiaoxiao feel comfortable all over, wishing to pick up the little white and kiss her a few times. You're so good, come and hug me, sister. After speaking, Ling Xiaoxiao is going to hug Xiaobai. Wait. Tang Li quickly stopped Ling Xiaoxiao. Just now, this little thing was a ruthless character who killed his father from birth. If this were given to Ling Xiaoxiao, I wouldn't be able to resurrect him myself. Unfortunately, it's too late. Ling Xiaoxiao has already embraced Xiaobai in her arms. Suddenly, a huge energy injected into Ling Xiaoxiao's body, and she seemed to lose consciousness, her eyes tightly closed. My body also floated in the air, emitting a soft white light that looked incredibly sacred. The girl, who was already very beautiful, now appears even more charming. This. Tang Li was confused. What did this little white person actually do? After a while, Ling Xiaoxiao slowly opened his eyes. There was a surprised expression on his face. Master, this is. In just a short moment of effort, she broke through several small boundaries in a row. I have already moved from the 6th level of the condensing meridian realm to the great perfection of the condensing meridian realm. This is simply a rocket-like cultivation speed. Xiaobai can not only be used as a spiritual medicine to assist in cultivation, but also to enhance cultivators' cultivation. The spiritual energy it infused into my body just now is enough to support me to break through the condensed meridian realm. Now I am only one step away from the pill-forming realm. Ling Xiaoxiao was shocked. Upon hearing Ling Xiaoxiao's pleasantly surprised words, Tang Li almost vomited blood. What's going on? This is a villain. My own father, it came up as a flash sale. Facing a beautiful little sister. Directly help others break through their boundaries. Tang Li is still feeling depressed, while Ling Xiaoxiao has made a new discovery. Master, what's wrong with Xiaobai? Tang Li lowered his head to take a look at the words. I saw Xiaobai lying soft and fluffy on Ling Xiaoxiao's chest, looking drowsy. Tang Li was taken aback and said, Why, is this just empty? Although Xiaobai looks like a creature, it is actually a fragment of the primordial star. In theory, it should not be so weak, right? But it does look very sluggish now. Ling Xiaoxiao frowned and said, Master, Xiaobai will be fine. She extended her jade onion-like white index finger and poked Xiaobai. Xiaobai slowly looked up at Ling Xiaoxiao without any reaction. Did it get tired just now because it was transmitting spiritual energy to me? Ling Xiaoxiao asked nervously. Tang Li shook his head and said, I'm not sure, maybe I'm tired. Hey, what's wrong with you, Bai? Get up quickly, don't pretend. Xiaobai rolled over and said weakly. Mom, I'm hungry, I want to eat. Tang Li was momentarily dumbfounded. Sleeping trough. Is it actually like this? Hungry. What do you want to eat? Tang Li frowned and patted his sturdy chest, quickly saying. Let me tell you first, Dad doesn't have any milk. Chapter 10. Children, pay attention to reasonable diet. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After listening to Tang Li's words, Ling Xiaoxiao was completely disorganized. It seems that I don't know enough about the soy egg leader. Always looking unreliable. She even had some doubts, whether the act of bowing to his door was her own fate or her own misfortune. And Xiaobai rolled his big white eyes, almost falling from Ling Xiaoxiao's hand and heart. It looked at Tang Li with a silly expression and then said in a particularly disdainful tone. Silly mom, who told you I'm going to breastfeed? Xiaobai's tone was filled with contempt. Tang Li breathed a sigh of relief and said, well, what do you think you want to eat? Xiaobai blinked her eyes. I want to eat spirit stones, anything with spiritual energy can do it. Tang Li suddenly realized. Oh, that's right, I think you should also be weaned. In the end, he understood. Although Xiaobai has the ability to charge others, he also needs to charge himself every time. It is like an efficient battery that requires an external power source to charge after use. This is a sealed place without spiritual energy. It requires spiritual stones or other supplementary energy, which is normal. Tang Li is still very generous with his own children. I took out 3 palm-sized top-grade spirit stones from the storage space and handed them to Xiaobai's mouth. Here, let's eat. You don't have to save for Dad. He took out the spirit stone, and each piece was about the size of Xiaobai's body. Tang Li was secretly laughing inwardly. I can eat it all, but I can't hold you to death. Seeing Tang Li's unscrupulous gaze, Xiaobai knew that his mother was not well-intentioned. Its mouth opens, getting bigger and bigger, even larger than its body. In the stunned eyes of Tang Li and Ling Xiaoxiao, they swallowed 3 top-grade spirit stones in one gulp. There is no change in body size. The cute little face showed an intoxicated expression. Tang Li was stunned. What kind of monster is this? Damn it, this Nima is too fierce, isn't it? So many top-grade spirit stones are being eaten by you like sugar beans. He's going to use foul language. Mom, I haven't eaten enough, is there anything else? Xiaobai licked her pink and tender little tongue. Tang Li widened his eyes and said, are you a foodie? However, in front of Ling Xiaoxiao, he felt embarrassed to admit it. He took out 5 high-quality spirit stones and placed them next to Xiaobai's mouth. Bang 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 bang. Tang Li saw Xiaobai munching wildly, and in the blink of an eye, the 5 top-quality spirit stones disappeared. Damn it, it's so edible. Do you think this is chewing beetle nuts? Tang Li was once again shocked. Xiaobai seems to have regained some energy after eating the top-grade spirit stone. With a look of grievance, Mom, I'm really hungry. Is there anything else? Tang's centrifugal is about to drip blood. Although it feels like something is wrong with Xiaobai. But as a father, if he can't even feed his own child enough, then his pussy will be ruined. Tang Li gritted his teeth and said, "Yes, keep feeding me. I have to make you eat enough today." With a big wave of his hand, he took out all the remaining hundreds of top-grade spirit stones. A flash of white light. The piles of spirit stones were all swallowed by Xiao Bai. The whole process didn't take a second. Xiao Bai licked his lips and asked intentionally, "Mom, you haven't eaten enough yet, is there anything else?" Looking at its unchanged body, Tang Li laughed heartily. Children should pay attention to a reasonable diet and not overeat. Ling Xiaoxiao helped his forehead, and the scene was truly hilarious. Like coaxing a child, he whispered to Xiao Bai, be good. Let's hurry first, and we'll eat later, okay? Okay. Xiao Bai nodded obediently, crawled out of Ling Xiaoxiao's arms, and jumped onto Tang Li's shoulder. As soon as my eyes closed, it seemed like I was going to sleep. Chow. When you're full, go to sleep. Are you a pig? Tang Li is crazy roast in his heart. Soon, Tang Li left the sealed land with Ling Xiaoxiao. He also felt firsthand the terrifying aspect of the innate Tao body. Since the moment he flew out of the sealed place, the spiritual energy around him seemed to have found an outlet, pouring continuously into his body. He doesn't even need to deliberately absorb it, the spiritual power in his body is growing wildly. It's still too slow. Tang Li let out a deep sigh. If someone else could achieve such a cultivation speed, they would have been ecstatic long ago. But Tang Li only died once, and after resurrection, he immediately possessed the power to complete the Jidan realm. The current turtle-like cultivation speed is too slow for him. Tang Li can't wait to rush to Lingxiao City and have a big fight. Ling Xiaoxiao analyzed again. Master, although you have high strength, the enemies come from 4 cities with a large number of people. There should still be many experts staying in Lingxiao City now. Ling Xiaoxiao became worried. If we can't catch them all in one go, we're afraid we'll attract more enemies in the future. Tang Li waved his hand and said nonchalantly. What are you afraid of? I see these people like dirt, chicken, tiles, and dogs. No matter how many of them there are, it's useless. I still have over 900 million lives left. Even if I stood there without any resistance and let them kill, it was enough to exhaust them. Besides, what I own is the protagonist's winning system. There is always only one ending, even if the enemy can kill themselves once, there is no possibility of a second attack. Ling Xiaoxiao settled down. Yes, my leader is a senior expert in the Divine Sea realm. Small characters like them, who are equivalent to first and second grade sects, are simply not enough to kill. The two of them flew another distance. Ling Xiaoxiao is unable to persist due to his low strength and excessive consumption of spiritual energy during long-term flight. Tang Li had to stop and wait for her to meditate and regain her spiritual energy. Then Tang Li felt a bit awkward. The innate Tao body is really amazing and domineering. The surrounding spiritual energy flowed uncontrollably towards his body, and Ling couldn't absorb it at all. Finally, Ling could only stand there guarding Tang Li, like a loyal protector. At this moment, a rustling sound suddenly came from the forest, and then more than 10 disheveled figures emerged. As the first young man, with a tired face and tattered clothes on his body, at the moment he saw Ling Xiaoxiao. Sister. I have found you. Ling Tian slipped and knelt, hugging Ling Xiaoxiao's thigh. And the group of disheveled people behind him also knelt down one after another, shouting together, Mississippi. This young man, named Ling Tian, is the young lord of Lingxiao City and Ling Xiaoxiao's younger brother. Sister. Ling Tian started crying and howling. I finally saw you. Ling Xiaoxiao's tears welled up in a flash. Although her younger brother is usually a bit stubborn and not very reassuring, now Lingxiao City is in trouble, and countless disciples in the city have died or been injured. She is constantly worried about her own younger brother. At that time, in the chaos, her father desperately sent herself out of the city, and Ling Xiaoxiao thought that her mischievous younger brother would inevitably be unlucky. Unexpectedly, I could still see him bouncing around alive. Ling Tian, how did you escape? She looked puzzled. Thanks to the two guest elders, Baiming Zheng and Baiming Cheng, who fought hard to save each other, otherwise your younger brother would have died. Ling Tian briefly recounted the process of being saved by two Baiming elders, and then gathered several remaining soldiers who had escaped before finally escaping here. After listening, Ling Xiaoxiao quickly thanked Baiming Zheng and Baiming sincerely. Sister, we need to find a way to seek revenge. We can't let our parents and second uncle die in vain. Ling Tian was heartbroken. Don't worry, if you dare to bully our Lingxiao city, I will definitely seek justice for everyone. Ling Xiaoxiao clenched his pink fist. This is Senior Tang Li, the leader of a sect, and also my master. If it weren't for his help, we wouldn't have met again. He came this time to help us avenge Lingxiao city. Don't worry, my master is a senior expert in the Divine Sea realm. It's just Xuanhuan city, and he can easily destroy it with just a flick of his finger. Ling Xiaoxiao looked at Tang Li with a look of admiration on his face. Ling Tian was stunned. I didn't expect my sister to have such a big chance. He knew that his sister Ling Xiaoxiao never lied, and since she said that Tang Li's senior strength was unfathomable, that was definitely right. Greet Master Tang, my name is Ling Tian, kid. Ling Tianyi changed his previous carefree posture and bowed to Tang Li's respect. Tang Li laughed heartily. Don't worry, things like Xuanhuan city are just small fish and shrimp in my eyes. I can crush them with just one finger. Feeling the admiration in everyone's eyes, Tang Li, who was in a joyful mood, had a boundless passion. Hee, it's ridiculous, it's really ridiculous. At this moment, an disharmonious voice came out.